Bruce, I know you're moderating, and I don't want to skip ahead, but I'm like goldfish brain, so I'm going to ask. For us printers and people buying these blanks and whatnot, what was the big what's the big benefits for us other than buying it all from one place with this acquisition of Broder? What else can we see that'll be like a plus for us?
Yeah, so I mean, you'll have more brands in one destination than has ever existed in the industry. More inventory, depth, breadth, which is a huge key purchase consideration, obviously, for decorators and promotional products distributors. Like just being able to go one place and have everything you need. The other big one is, from an operations standpoint, the reach that we have 1 and 2 day together is even better than it was apart, which is really hard to do without opening like 25 more DCs and all these small random rural areas. But, we've done a tremendous amount of investment in technology in our distribution centers in terms of order processing to be able to pick more per day, ship more per day on time accurately. And so we'll be bringing that technology to the AlphaBroder experience. And so, like error rates will be lower, misship times will be less frequent, and all of the kind of like big sort of operational friction points hopefully are minimized.
Did you guys see the tech video investment side? If you watch the full thing, halfway through, there's literally robots carrying bins around the floor. So the goal was like, all right, hey, look, we have the problem now of, and Frank, tell me where I'm, misquoting things, but like there's 700 plus or 800,000 square feet of warehouse space. And we don't want people driving around or walking around the warehouse because it just takes too long. So these robots will get the bins and bring them to the picker and constantly reorganize. And, it looks like the bins come off of some sort. They pick this stuff and then they seem to hit a button. When it's done, it goes back and just leaves and then goes into the box. And it looks like a bag, like some sort of folder, and sealer seals the bag and it just goes off into some sort of shipping apparatus. I mean, that's crazy. The fact that that's all happening at the same time.
Yeah. And I mean, what's super cool about all of it is like everybody wins there. Like the customer gets a more accurate on-time order. The employee has a safer and, candidly easier job to do. It's more efficient for us. Like it's just like one of those win-win-win scenarios. It's like, the coolest thing any of us have been a part of in our careers to be able to like find and implement a solution like this. But it's basically these Roomba robots drive around, bring the product to another portal, and then like a suction
also
cup
cleans the floor.
No, unfortunately they don't.
Can you put a Swiffer? Can you just put a Swiffer on the bottom of it?
You should patent that quickly.
Now, Frank, when we've talked about like there's going to be a lot of positives. I think when this news came out, a lot of printers were scared. We'll just have to, talk about kind of the elephant in the room, and maybe me and Andy can bust your chops on some of these questions. But like immediately when I saw this, I was like, okay, cool, because I don't really buy from Alpha a ton, but I was also like, all right, prices are going up. That's immediately what hit my gut, right? What do you say to the printer that thinks, okay, this is a little bit of a monopoly play. They're going to control more of the market. They can control prices a little bit more. Now it's really just them against Sanmar. What's the response to that? Because I think that was just a general feeling. Whether it's true or not, that's how we felt.
Yeah, totally. I think I heard you guys say that on one of your podcasts at some point during the summer. First of all, I can tell you, like, we didn't underwrite like some big margin, like pricing benefit in this transaction. Like it's not predicated on that happening. And that's really not the motivation to do it. Like this whole integration is only successful if we don't lose market share. And so like for us, it's really focused on keeping the customer and making sure that nothing happens where we sell one less shirt. And so for us, that means we're in a competitive market. We have very strong competitors that we need to price to. And like, it's not about price for us. Like the other thing I'd say is like to an average decorator, like if you really think about what an error costs you. Like if you get misshipped product and set up and have to count it in and call and return it and get another, wait another day or whatever, like the benefit of a more accurate order is actually way less expensive than paying, a penny less a shirt or whatever for a normal order. So like,
I would agree with that too, because my shipping and receiving people, that's always been their biggest thing is they'll come to me and be like, hey, I may have ordered this shirt and it was a little bit cheaper from this distributor and not this distributor, but can you just stop ordering from them because every other order is messed up, or I have to recount something or I have to send something back. So, and that to us was Broder, which is why 99% of what we order is from SNS. And we were just like, just stop ordering from them. Like, even if it's a little bit cheaper, it's like, just, we have to, because every other order is messed up or whatever. So I think that's a huge factor for us as a printer. I would rather pay cents more for the convenience and the customer service than I would for the, initial cheaper blank.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't know, did anyone else take the survey that SNS sent out a week or so ago? There was a survey and I did it. And first of all, it was a little bit too long, Frank. It took me like at least,
I'll write that
I don't
down.
know, like damn near a half hour. But
well, thank you for
it was
doing it.
What a guy.
I did it because I had to, I started it, so I had to complete it. I had to finish it. But it was interesting because what you just mentioned, there were a few things in there, like it had some questions. You had to choose which was most important to you. And was it cost? Was it sustainability? Was it accuracy? I mean, and you had to kind of weigh them out. And so I really liked that part. And I tried really hard to,
what did you pick?
give my honest. Well, yeah, sort of what Dylan just said. I'd rather have an accurate order and pay a little more. I'd rather have better customer service and pay a little more. If something goes wrong, I want a hotline, basically concierge service that I'm like, hey, this went wrong. No questions asked. It's fixed, and then it's sent to me the next day. And then, yeah, I'd pay more per shirt or per order or whatever to know that that I have all that, because it costs you. If you think about it, it costs you more if those things are messed up and delayed and all that kind of stuff. If you get an order that isn't right, well, then that costs you more. And so, yeah, you want those things. And so, yeah, and then my two-part. This is like a two-part question. My other question to you, or I don't know if that was a question as much as it was a comment, is that my question is it going to be one website? So how in the past you've acquired Eva and all those others, and it turns into another location basically. So are we going to log into SNS and there's going to be multiple more locations, or is there always going to be these separate websites?
Yeah. So and this is the big exciting news, is we've kind of finally gotten our arms around what this looks like. But we went to the market to try to kind of understand, like, if there was a need or a desire from the customer to have two separate experiences. And where we landed was that, we're going to go to one brand for apparel distribution, which means one website. And so when you log in, you'll see, all the warehouses that are available for whatever product you're looking at. And then, and I don't know if you guys know this, but right now, if you order on SNS and then you get to the end, you can actually optimize your shipment based on where you are to like the lowest transit time or fewest shipments. And so we'll have that same, we call it the freight optimizer algorithm available. So you can basically just pick, it doesn't matter which location you pick when you're on the product page, it'll optimize it for you at the end. But all of the Alpha and SNS sites will be on that same page.
Was that a unanimous decision? Because what psychopath would want to go to two websites to order their blanks?
It was not a unanimous decision, believe it or
really?
Not. No, I mean, we just had a lot to think through about, like, if there was certain features or like, what exactly the different value props of the brands were. And, there's different types of customers, obviously. I mean, it's like, I know you guys know this, but, you have everything from like a mom and pop shop that maybe does one job a month to people that are transmitting literally tens of thousands of orders to us a week. And so it's like trying to figure out what works for everyone in between is super hard. And so we wanted to just make sure we were thoughtful, because once you combine them, you can't go back, obviously. So
yeah, that's something to consider, because if you think about it, let's say that you're a diehard Broder person or AlphaBroder person, and for whatever reason you don't like S&S, and so you all of a sudden merge, and now it's just S&S, and maybe you go to Sanmar instead. You know, you're like, hey, wait, I'm just going to go to Sanmar. I mean, car companies do that and have that issue all the time when they acquire a brand or whatever, and let's say you have a loyal person to Audi, and then if Volkswagen, I know they own Audi, but if you just called it Volkswagen all of a sudden, maybe you wouldn't buy it, you know, because you just love Audi, so you'd go somewhere else. I don't know. So I guess it's something to consider, even though for convenience and efficiency, and like Dylan thinks too, is like, of course you want it all under that same, you want to log into S&S and you want to see all of the warehouses and where the stuff is and not have to toggle back and forth and all that stuff. So